So I'm pretty sure most of you guys heard by now that Deontay Wilder plans, or I guess one of his, ambitions in life is to actually, after he unifies the heavyweight division, move down in weight to cruiserweight and become the undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world. Now I read a piece where he says that most champions don't do that. Most, heavyweight champions don't move down in weight, and it's never been done before. And I agree with that. Most heavyweights don't do that, but it has been done before. Evander Holyfield became the undisputed cruiserweight champion, and then he moved up and became the undisputed heavyweight champion. So it has been done before. There has been a guy that was undisputed at cruiserweight and then moved up and became undisputed at heavyweight. But like Wilder said, there hasn't been a guy to move down. Evander Holyfield was a natural light heavyweight. He turned pro at 175, and he moved up to cruiserweight and then eventually heavyweight, and he became unified in both divisions. So it would be true if Wilder were to move down to 200, to basically cruiserweight 200 pounds and below. And if he were to win a championship belt there, he would be the first heavyweight to do that. Now, first of all, he has to get past beating Anthony Joshua. If he beats him, do I think he has the ability to become a champion at cruiserweight? First of all, I think it would drain him, because Wilder, even though he's a natural small heavyweight, he only weighs around, I believe he weighs in the 220s. Although when he fought, Luis Ortiz, I believe he weighed at his lightest. He was like 219 or something. But if he moves down to cruiserweight, that means he has to go under 200 pounds. So he would be very drained, I would imagine. And at cruiserweight, you got a bunch of guys down there. You got Marius Gassiev. You got, of course, Alexander Usyk, Marius Briedis, and a bunch of cruiserweights. Even guys like that dude that Marius Gassiev fought, that Cuban dude. I forgot his name already. The dude that knocked out that Russian dude. There's a bunch. The cruiserweight is an underrated division. There's a bunch of cruiserweights down there. I would actually pick Deontay Wilder, though, skill for skill, to beat somebody like Marius Gassiev. Marius Gassiev is about to fight, what's his name? Alexander Usyk to unify, right? They're going to unify. But if Wilder were to fight someone like Marius Gassiev, I would pick him to win, because I think if Wilder were to fight in the back foot, I think he could outbox Marius Gassiev, because I've never really been impressed with Marius Gassiev. Marius Gassiev, when you are boxing him, when you're moving in circles around Marius Gassiev, he tends to come forward, and he's kind of like a plotting type of fighter. He's not the best at cutting off the ring. He kind of tries to emulate Gennady Golovkin. They do train together. I believe they both have the same trainer, but he's not good at cutting off the ring. So when he is in a position where he has to cut off the ring against his opponent, he doesn't look that great. He didn't look that great against Denis Lebedev, and even against that Mayweather fight, I forgot his name. That Mayweather dude he was fighting, who was outboxing him. He's kind of a guy that needs you to be standing still and directly in front of him. So I would actually pick Wilder to beat him. When it comes to Alexander Usyk, though, that to me is a more tougher task for Wilder, because Alexander Usyk would be boxing. He would be in the back foot. He would be moving. He would have Wilder chase him. And Wilder is not the best at cutting off the ring. I thought Arthur Spooker was outboxing Wilder easily. Wilder will really, in my opinion, only have a puncher's chance in that fight. Usyk, because he's naturally a smaller guy, he would be much faster on his feet. So I think it would be more difficult for Wilder, for the simple fact that these guys are much faster. At heavyweight, Wilder is normally the faster of the two. You notice whenever Wilder fights heavyweights, he's normally the faster dude. The reason he's normally the faster dude is because he's very light as a heavyweight. As a heavyweight, he's walking around at 225. Most of these heavyweights that he fights, like Luis Ortiz, these guys are in the 240s, 250s. So he's going to be faster on his feet. But he's not going to have that advantage at cruiserweight. He'll have the height advantage. He'll be taller than these guys, but these guys will be faster. Look at when he fought Arthur Spooker. Arthur Spooker was a guy who turned pro at cruiserweight. He turned pro under 200 pounds. He then moved up to heavyweight. And if you remember that fight, look at how much faster Arthur Spooker was than Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is normally the faster guy on the back foot. But if you look at that fight, Arthur Spooker was moving and he was boxing, and Wilder was having a hard time catching up to Arthur Spooker. Arthur Spooker looked like he was 2 steps ahead of Wilder in terms of like the speed department. It wasn't until, Arthur Spooker started getting tired and Wilder started, having Arthur Spooker come towards him where he started having success. But to me, the eye-catching moment in that fight was the fact that Wilder could not catch up to the speed of Arthur Spooker. That's what was bothering Wilder, the awkwardness, the speed, the footwork, because Arthur Spooker kept moving, and Wilder was trying to chase Arthur Spooker, and it was making it difficult for Wilder. So that would be a disadvantage if Wilder went down to cruiserweight. He wouldn't have the speed. So not only will he be dealing with some of the skill sets of these guys, but also the speed disadvantage. He's not going to be at heavyweight, he's faster than most of the guys he fights, but he's not going to have that advantage at cruiserweight, basically. But would I mind seeing Wilder move down at cruiserweight? I wouldn't mind it. Like I said, first he has to beat Anthony Joshua. I don't want him to be like moving down right now. No, first fight Anthony Joshua. If he gets past him, if they have a trilogy, a rematch, whatever, then I wouldn't mind seeing Wilder fight at cruiserweight. Again, I think it'll kind of be a disadvantage for him for the simple fact, like I said, he'll be draining himself. A, because Wilder's a natural heavyweight, and B, because these guys are much faster. They're going to have the foot speed advantage. But, yeah, guys, that's all I have to say. What do you guys think? What do you guys think Wilder's chances are fighting at cruiserweight? Do you think he'll succeed? Let me know, guys. Thanks for watching, and subscribe as always.